do a quick wrap up of Samrajya Lakshmi. I actually wanted to go over. So far, they have done 4 atalas, 4 chapters, and the episode 7 is fourth patala. The reason I'm telling you guys is it's a privilege to be taught this. Seriously, it's a privilege. Because only to Kshatriyas, only to kings this knowledge was revealed. And we are so lucky to have a teacher like Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, who is willing to give this. He attained the status of Bhagawan after he left India. So right now, his teachings are incredible. Like seriously, I joke around with him, but I think he's so approachable, so easy, and it's so. I feel like this type of relationship. I don't know whether we must have prayed like zillions of years to even get to this type of relationship with our higher beings who are willing to teach us step by step how to live our lifestyle, but with all the spiritual knowledge we need. And I feel very blessed to be part of his tutelage, his Gurukul. So, what is it? The first week they revealed. The first week they revealed how Shiva was seated, how in his abode he looks so brilliant. We have seen so many episodes where like people say walk towards the light and stuff, and the brilliance is so much. He's self-effluent. That is the way I'm hearing is sun, moon, stars or a reflection of Shiva himself, because only when you turn on the light you can see. Like I needed to turn on the camera for you guys to see my presence, right? Same way, my light has to be on for you to see with clarity. So sun, moon, stars are a reflection of a clarity of where they are getting the brilliance from. The brilliance, the source that's emanating from self is Shiva. So he's so pure, it's like the pure brilliance of impurity lacking diamonds. Okay, that's the crown he wears. He has the adornment of these jewels that goes from his shoulders to his chest, and he's seated in a throne, and in that his clothes are tiger skin, and in his hand he holds a deer, and he has a herb. I think either he waves it or he holds it. The herb is called Nayuruvi, and it is a herb we would see in our yard. Like it is a pinkish one that sticks to the clothes, and I don't know what the spiritual significance of it. And in another hand, he is doing abhaya, which means almost like protection sign, that even to look at it feels, or blessing sign. We look at it, our body is filled with nectar. Okay, and so the reason they are saying, I heard, is they are telling us the source where all this knowledge is coming from, and how like a king himself he's seated. So it's like a knowledge passed on by like some very high being who's having the highest authority, and each significance is explained. Like he went to a place where the saints were praying, and the saints were trying to threaten him, not understanding his skills, by sending out a tiger to shoo him off, and he appeared as a panhandler. And so to them, that is, he appeared like a panhandler. So he skins the tiger, and he takes away the skin. That's what he's wearing. So he's capable of skinning animal alive. That much skills he possesses. It's indirectly what the ability of Shiva that is. And then the deer is supposed to be the distracted mind. So he's able to capture just by speaking, everybody's mind will stop thinking, it seems. And then the herb, I am going to pursue that to see. I already went and saw what are the benefits of that herb, and it had like so many antioxidant benefits and stuff. And then the Abhayahasta, right? Like where, like, he always is in a protective and in a blessing mode. So these are the 4 hands with 4 ornaments. Then they describe like how his attentive audience were, and the audience included his mate Parvati, and also his audience included Brahma with only 4 heads, which means he is in a space of egoless state, because one he cut off to cut off his like Brahma was saying, I'm a creator and stuff, and I think he took away that egoistic part. So Brahma is lacking 1 head. So that's the listening space of Brahma is coming from the humble and creative state. And then he has Nandi, and he has both devas and demons in his side, because he is very equally protective of both of those entities, and he gives them due respect, but he cannot accept improper behaviors. Actually, there is a saying in a poet called him Odu Nalat Tarase. That is, I think I need to go back and look at the exact word. This is a poet who was a male but was sung by a female artist. And when she sings, she says, Odu Nalat Tarase Punyani. That is, he is the king of public proper behaviors. And that's a very nice word I liked about him. And then, so he knows how to conduct himself like a king in public, and that will exemplify the best behavior tactics. And then, so that kind of he emulates a behavior that is expected to be proper. And so both the devas and demons are in his audience. And this is when the Parvati raises the question, from the all-knowing space of you, please explain to me about Samrajya Lakshmi. And I don't know, and see, sometimes you don't know what brought it on, like what was the events having took place before. Those and all we don't have privy to. And this section comes from a space called Ananda Bhairava Tantra. Tantras are all hidden, sacred, secret knowledge only passed on to kings and people of highest authority. You need to remember that, because each tantra has a specific source. And Ananda Bhairava is a lot of the time, but he is anchored in a blissful place. So this time is anchored from the purest joyful place. So that's the space Parvati is using to ask this question. So the whole thing is so sweet. Even like if you listen to it one by one sentence, it's like amazing, this knowledge. So I was like soaking up in this bliss. Okay. So now let me go back to the day 1 when they started. Did I put down the dates? Seated in lotus, because I posted already like some of them. Hands creating nectar. Did I write down the dates? I wanted to know when they started it. It looks like it was started somewhere after Pongal, 1:15:19. I would wonder whether it is like 16th or, because I remember when I originally saw Swamiji's, which they released later in on 12th of January, he releases this book to the public. And by the way, this book was burnt. The only thing they could retrieve in Tanjore, it's called Samrajya Lakshmi Pithika, and they had only retrieved 265 pages. Swamiji has released the whole thing, 547 pages on His Holiness Paramahamsa Nithyananda, and the chapters up to 136 they have retrieved. And these books were burnt for like up to 6 months. We had like so many zillions of books, everything was burnt. So this is leftover. And sometimes, the weird part is when these videos are taking place, people complain. Oh, he didn't give out the full details and stuff. I'm saying, oh my God, they don't even know the amount of energy this must have taken everybody to even retrieve it. Like this was lost by Muslim invasion in like 2000 years ago, right? And now we are retrieving it in 2000. What is the year today? 2019. And people are saying it's not fast enough for them. I'm like saying, hello. They need to understand, wait. Anyway, now let's so the thing is, so when she says this, I love the way they explain about Lakshmi. Okay, so Shiva says, please listen without distraction. That's first thing he says. And he says, I'm going to tell you about Samrajya Lakshmi. And step by step, he goes into talking about her. First, he says that she is in a kingdom with 33 beautiful jeweled houses, and of that, her house is called Chintamani. Okay, he gives her a name, Chintamani. These actually, because I watched it online live, or rather live, I got some of this, but they haven't yet translated this part. I haven't seen it come to this level yet. So her space is called Chintamani, and the way you would know is the whole city is filled with golden trees, and in her courtyard, the speciality, she's like having a gazebo, like a place, and it is got a flat white umbrella, huge umbrella, and everybody's seated in that, and she's in a throne, and everybody's seated around her. So that's how you could see she's an authority. And then her house, both panels and floors, are filled with Vaidurium and ruby. There is ruby and cat's eye, and that's the panel she holds everywhere, and it's filled with brilliance. And her crown also is same way, cat's eye and ruby. She has the most beautiful jewelry in her ears that looks like kundala. He says kundala could mean umbrella, like a bell like earring, but she has a very fancy earring. And then she wears a pearl nose stud or nose ring, and then her arms he describes as round, and she looks like filled with motherhood, because he says Payodara Baranye. I don't know the exact word, I might be making mistakes. So he said her breast looks like filled with milk, cosmic milk. So she is cosmic motherhood. And her body is so beautiful, and it emits a very fragrant smell, just her body, like a frankincense, myrrh-like smell. And also she had, her navel looks like a whirlpool, and it looks like blue lotus. And the reason is it is so tough to get a glimpse of it. And he was able to see hair in her navel. So she was third eye, like, like the detail he goes into is amazing. And she's a very graceful lady, radiating divine grace. And she's in Padmasana. She's sitting in like asana, like meaning her ankles are hidden. You could only see her foot. And she has a beautiful jewelry in her feet as well, in the right feet. It's called kadaka. Kadaka means it's like a round, thick ornament, and it is not complete, like meaning it has a gap in between. And one side has a specific figurine, and he doesn't say what it is. And then he also says her sole of the feet looks like a little turtle, like, because he is only seeing the other. So it's like almost a turtle flipped up side down. And he says it's so lush that looks like very healthy. And she has the Varabaya, like her hands looks like she is constantly blessing everybody. And also she has lotus in two of her hands. Her hands are very, very slender and soft to touch, but strong when you grip. Varaha Hatsa, Abhaya Hatsa, and also he has two lotus in the upper arm and the back. And on her forehead, she's decorated with Kasturi Tilaka, very fragrant thing she has on her forehead. And in her crown, she has beautiful ruby embedded, heart captivating crown, and as well heart captivating earring. And she has the Surya, Venus, silver, and moon all adorning her head. And then she says everything, Navabaranam, planets, everything is glittering, like she has like 9 elements represented in all her jewels. When you look at her, you're filled with such nectar. And it's nectar releasing, stress releasing posture she has. Just by seeing her, people filled with such a sweetness, and they forget their stress. And he goes into details of her dress, like she has this golden dress, golden sari, and that is so brilliant. So the whole area in her, it is filled with glitter. It's like how when people do glittery dress, but actually the glitter is coming from her gold sheen, but there is a veil of pink surrounding her. So it's a gold dress, but she's filled with this veil of pink. So it's like almost like she's in this pinkish, cloudy aura. And then in her hip, she wears a beautiful belt made with diamonds and cat's eye. And there is a word he used, Oraya, hip belt. Oraya Bandhanam, above the navel. So there is one belt you can wear above the navel, one is in the hip. So he makes a distinction, she wears the hippo one. And then he goes into the details, which is her anklets are beautiful, which makes the sweetest sound when she walks. Which means, because he is describing when she's seated, so he must observe her when she's walking too, because he says she makes the sweetest bell-like sound when she walks. And then he says the city he goes into, her city is Deep Golden Tree City, 18 Deepa Vijay City. Vijayanagara. Her city is called Vijayanagara, and hers is an island, because he calls it Deepa. It seems it's an island. It's not like, so everywhere it's surrounded. So it's an island, and it's an extremely beautiful city, and she has a pinkish aura, pinkish color. And then, so in her hand, like, see, she's surrounded by 8, her Anga Devatas are 8 Lakshmis, Ashtalakshmi. And one of the things I picked up is the Dhana Lakshmi, yeah, the girl who gives money, and Dhanya Lakshmi, they go into detail. And the Dhanya Lakshmi, who is the source of harvest, she's holding Kunchika Vriksha. And I went and looked up at Kunchika Vriksha. This is paddy type of herb, but the in Sri Yantra, Sri Kunchika Homam is done. And I have to really go back and see what is this Kunchika, the herb. So I'll incorporate that. And I think I came across that, and I posted it in the previous videos. She also has the fragrance of Sambrani. So that one is a Styrax benzoin resin, and hers is a flat white umbrella. I wonder if Sambrani is Kunchika, but I don't know. I mean, I will confirm it. And so these are her residence. Chintamani is her home. And then, she's surrounded by a lot of armies that is made with horses. The horses also is adorned with jewels like gold, and her elephant force is also well decorated, and they are all excited, and they are in an excited state they are staying. And she lives in a well protected golden campus wall, and there are so many rooms in Chintamani Graha. It looks like a white house that is elevated structure, and there are various structures made with gold. And that's when he says, Parvati, listen. And her surroundings has multiple water bodies decorated, and it's a Ratna Mandapa, pillared hall with gemstones made of diamonds, and the pillars are made of gold and diamonds. They are all glittering. And she sits in a raised platform. Oh, her staircase is made with coral studs. Stones are calcite, studded with rubies. And the center of this glorious gazebo, she's sitting in a beautiful simhasan. Oh, by the way, her asana has king, simhasan. I mean, not king, king of animals, that is lion. So she's seated in a lion's asana, a lion lake asana. In the center, there are 1,000-petal golden lotus, and she looks extreme. So the Simhasana also has a 1,000-petal golden lotus, and she's extremely beautiful, and she is in a yogasana, yogic seat, and the 8 devis are around her. She captivates the heart, beauty of jasmine flowers. Her lips are red, he says, because he calls it Kovai Param, and she has a lovely feet, and she is chewing betel nuts with camphor, beetles, nuts, areca, and then camphor. And one more thing he said, because I try to make it, and because of that, she's always chewing, so you could see like that redness in her tongue and the lips. Wow, what a detail, huh? I love it. Anyway, so then he went. This is the second patala. The first patala is Shiva himself in description. The second is Lakshmi, and then the third patala is when he releases the mantra. And I went online and checked, and nowhere they released it to the public yet. So out of respect, because one of the things they said is the mantra has to be revealed only by Guru. And because of that, out of respect, I'm going to skip the third patala. I mean, when Bididi releases, I will release it. Okay, I don't want to, I want to walk in sync with them, not taking it out of context. Now let's come back to the fourth patala. In the fourth patala only, they talk about the yantra, and they also tell how the mantra on the third patala, like how many times you need to do and stuff. And I'm going to get it to the gist of 60, the last, like it has to be recited at least 160,000 times. And I think it's crore, like, like you have to up it 16 times 1 crore. So like the Homa is like a huge thing, and then he breaks it down to 10, 10, 10, 10, and the last 10, the unit of it is 1600. 1600 people have to be fed. That's the way they end it. But I'm going to translate it in a way I understand. The breathing space is where Lakshmi resides. So when you do breathing 1600 times, that's when we would be able to get into her space. It's interesting. The live video in Facebook cut off, so maybe it's not supposed to be given to everybody. So the breathing space is 1600. So if you take a deep breath 1600 times with Sri Samrajya Lakshmi mantra, that will feed our body. Okay, that's the way I'm going to translate. And then the yantra, I went to the Lakshmi temple. I got permission from my mom, Lakshmi, and she said I can do it in my the anklet. What the name? It started with K. I still told you earlier. Kadakam, right? Kadakam. So 16 aksharas. So the mantra has 16 syllables. Sodasa akshara. And the total mantra japa has to be 16 followed by 6 zeros. That is the total mantra japa. 16 0 0 0 0 0 0 total mantras. And you divide it by 10, would be tarpana. With water you will do. So 1600 16,000. 16,000 is Tarpana. The Homa again is divided by 10, so the Homa Ahuti would be 16,000. 16 followed by 000. Okay, Tarpana is 160000. Right, so Ahuti, which is Homam, is 16 followed by 000. And that divided by 10 is Boja, which is 16,000 feeding. So this is how you develop the Siddham, like the secret knowledge of this. And it has to be performed by the king themselves. You cannot delegate. And then the yantra comes in. So my goal this year is to create the yantra. And this finishes my wrap up. And I'll post it for all of you guys. I'm gonna say Purna Mantra for Swamiji. Purnamidam Purnamadam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamavaya Purnamidaya Purnamudachyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Sadguru Bhagawan Sri Nithyananda Paramashiva Adukar Pranamastu Nithyanandam. Thank you, Swamiji.